Hello, friends. Starting today's episode, over the next few episodes, I shall be attempting to peek into the future and see what 2025 holds for all of us who are working in different categories of business or personal life. Okay. Everybody wants to become a better person in 2025, individually as well as a business or as an employee. Okay. And the performance in the coming year is going to be a lot different to envisage than what we've been doing in the past. What with the advent of technologies that could seriously disrupt a lot of our lives, careers, businesses, etc. In today's episode, I start with speaking on the retail sector, mainly because I've received a lot of requests from retailers to speak on what retail will be and what the future of retail is going to be in 2025 and the next few years. Also, I start with this category of business because over the past nearly 2 years, 1.5 years, I have been consulting with two major retail chain stores, both in very different segments of business. One is in the business of fashion clothing, and the other is in the business of selling household utility items. But what we've done together, what we have achieved, and how we have changed the way that their business works is something that I would love to see in a lot of other businesses in the coming few years. It's not that I alone managed to change things. And I'm not even guessing here when I say it's for the better, because revenues, profits, etc., are telling us that we did the right things. And I really appreciate the permission given to me by both those companies to speak to you about this, about what we did there and how we got success without giving specific examples. I start this episode with the hope that no matter what category of retail you are in, you would be able to find something here that is going to help you to improve your business in the coming years. Let me begin at the beginning. When I first started working with the fashion chain store, the first thing that we did was to identify the consumers of today. And what we found is a consumer who we call the nil consumer. The nil meaning zero. Today's consumer has, he or she is truly called as a zero consumer because first, they have no limit, no boundary. They have a zero boundary on what are the channels that they will use to do their shopping. Very frankly, they have zero loyalty, even if you are one of the best brands around. And they have zero waiting patience. Okay, they want everything fast. Order it now and it should be in your house tomorrow. Okay, so we call them that nil category of consumers. Okay, or zero consumers. I think that sounds better. Okay, so what are the things that make them, or what are the things that they get defined by when we say zero consumers? As I said, first thing is they have zero boundaries. Okay. In fact, a lot of research that we did 1.5 years back, and a lot of the consumers we spoke to in malls more than 90% of them responded saying that the product that they are looking for, they have already checked on the internet and then come to shop. And out of those 90%, nearly another 90% said that they came to shop because either they wanted to check the fit. For us, it was fit because we were doing it for a clothing company. They came to check the fit, whether it is right, whether the fitting is good, whether the fall of the clothes is good, and whether the material's texture is acceptable. If it were not for these three factors, I doubt if they would come into the shop at all. So they browse from one place, which is the net. Then they go and check it out at another place, which is the brick and mortar store. And for all you know, because most brick and mortar stores have a price that is higher than the net, for the simple reason that there are resources that are used and they cost money. So you probably come here to check it out, but still go back and buy from the net. So previously it was like window shopping and shopping. Okay, you go browse in the mall, look at everything, see what you like, try it, check it, and then buy it. Not anymore. Things have changed. Okay, and therefore this purchase journey is not now it is seamless in a new sense, but it is not seamless like before. It is fragmented in reality. Check on the web, check in the brick and mortar store, and then go and buy. So there is a fragment, but they want seamless connectivity. They don't want to go looking for the thing over and over again. Okay. And this is especially true of the millennial and the Gen Zers. Okay, they rely on social media. They rely on what celebrities have to say. They rely on articles that they read. They rely on the reviews that they find on Google or elsewhere. Okay, and then they shop fluidly across all channels. There's no barrier for them. Okay. The other thing that we noticed is that there is a zero for the middle category. People want to buy clothes which they use on a regular basis, which are inexpensive. Okay, they are very stingy on spending on those clothes. But when they go out to party or when they go out for an event, they splurge on the clothes that they wear. Very rarely did anybody said that, okay, they've come shopping for the middle range, so to say. And I believe this is true of all categories, because even in the other retail chain that I'm working with who sell household supplies and household utensils and cutlery and everything, we've been consistently finding over the last 1 year that there is no major demand for the middle segment. They either want the inexpensive stuff for daily use, for throwaway use, etc., or they want the exclusive stuff where they want to impress guests who have come home, and therefore they want the finest of what is available. As I said, today's generation of consumers has zero loyalty. If they're able to find something that suits them, it is not about a brand. Okay, my generation probably still think of brands, and we would love to wear a shirt or a polo that says boss. But today's generation, no. They want something that they like, that they can identify with. Okay, so they have zero loyalty towards any brand or towards any retailer for that matter. Okay, and they switch very easily. Okay, unless they are getting a truly differentiated service from the retailer from whom they are buying, they are willing to go and switch. Here, if you're not getting better service, the guy next door, being a new customer, may offer you better service. Or if he is bad, then he can be totally lousy. So that's how they think about it, and that's how they build this thing. Okay. Then the next thing, as I said, is they have zero patience. I myself also, when I order from Amazon, I'm looking for things that will be delivered the next day. and that too with prime delivery. Okay, so we have zero patience. I order something, I want it at once. Okay, so these are some of the things that make them zero consumers. Okay, and as far as delivery is concerned, most of the people that we spoke to during our survey, I'm talking of about a year and a half back when we did the fashion survey, we found that most people expected delivery within 5 to 7 days. Okay, anything after that was too long. But then when we did a survey just about 4 months back, after completing 1 year or little over a year of our implementing our new this thing, that 4 to 5 days, 6 days, 7 days has gone down to 2 to 3 days, even when it comes to fashion. Okay, so just-in-time production, not just-in-time inventory, now just-in-time production would have to be the norm for your supplier. And we'll come to that later. He should be more of a partner now rather than just a supplier. So they have zero patience. And main thing that they have become zero about, especially the Gen Zers, okay, is the net zero buying factor. A very good thing to do, but most of the consumers today do not want to buy things which destroy the earth or nature in any way whatsoever. So whenever they buy something, they want a net zero. Okay. Now, this net zero research analysis has proved that any product which says that it is net zero and displays it on the packaging or they communicate it well to the consumer, that category, that product has got a much better growth than products that are not net zero. So net zero is very, very important because now consumers care about sustainability. They care about social responsibility. They care about making sure that Mother Earth is not harmed any more than what we people have already done. Okay. So now having this consumer in mind, there are some factors that we can focus on to make sure that we have retail growth, which will make us all happy. There are three main things I would like to speak of here. One is the focusing of giving a delightful experience to your customer. As I said, if they don't get great service, they are very happy to switch and go to the retailer next door. So you need to delight him and give him an experience. You need to reinvent your relationships with your customers, with your suppliers, with your employees, as well as with your investors. As we just mentioned, your suppliers now need to be your partner because what you're going to need is just-in-time production. In the same way, your employees, you have to make sure that they are available, fresh and ready to hit it whenever required. So you need to make sure that that employment terms and their time off and everything is taken care of. And it's the same with investors. Investors today don't just care about growth and numbers. They care about values that you create. The valuation of your business is what really is. And the third thing that I would like to talk about here is that retailers need to focus on certain things that were not even a part of their agenda, maybe even as little as 1 year back. Okay, and these things are necessary to live up to and fulfill the expectations of your consumer. So focusing on delighting a customer. Okay, delight has the power to elevate a customer experience, and that is undoubtedly true. It also has the potential to amplify loyalty from the customer, because if he's constantly delighted, he's going to keep coming back to you, and to increase your revenue because the customer is going to come back to you, so your business is going to grow. Delight is a deep emotional connect. And why I especially mention this, because nowadays, as I said, they want to experience. They don't want to just go and buy the product. And therefore, that emotional this thing is becoming very important when it comes to retail. So delight is a deep emotional reaction, okay, which comes from receiving something as a surprise or having a joy in just entering the shop and looking around. And that experience that you provide to them when they are inside your shop is what is something that needs to be unexpected and extraordinary at the same time. So, yes, it requires a lot of thinking. And for this, I tell you, even where I was consultant, we had other consultants to help us. Okay, so it is beyond what expects in a daily life situation. Delight is not satisfaction. Satisfaction is mundane. Now, satisfaction is a given. You can't satisfy a customer anymore because if you're not satisfying him, he's gone. So, delight is what you need to do. Okay. When something unexpected happens, okay, to top that satisfaction, that is when you can say that you have really delighted your customer. As I said, if you keep delighting your customers, they'll keep coming back to you. And customers have the delighted customer has the potential to expand your business just by word of mouth, because people are always happy to relate the great experiences that have. And such referrals, such a retention of customers, because as I said, they come coming back to you, and of course your revenue increase. All of this is what you require to grow your retail business. There are certain actions you can take to make sure that you're delivering a delightful experience. One is service excellence. Give them, bend backwards to give them the service that is going to delight them and stun them as something that they had never expected ever to happen. Okay, so there are simple and inexpensive ways in which to do this. It's not that you need to spend a lot of money. Okay, a lot of times it's just a verbal communication. If your salesperson or your call center person can take a conversation to be a little more personal within limits, that's a great experience. Okay, so you need to create that service excellence, and you need people to train your people to think and act that way. I know I have consulted for a restaurant, which I'm very proud to say, every time I talk to anybody about the restaurant, they think that the service is fantastic. That's the way to go. Okay. And another important thing to delight the customer is product innovation. You need to innovate in your product. You need to innovate in the way that you are handling and distributing your product. You need to have novel features in your product. The product is not only about the physical product. The product also includes how you are serving them. Okay. In fact, a simple upgrade to an existing product can be joyful if it is demonstrated, explained, and displayed to the customer with a lot of panache. Okay. And to do this, you need to understand the emotional needs of the customer who is buying your product. Because only in that way can you touch a chord in his heart, which is going to give him that delightful experience. You need to reinvent your relationships, as I said, with suppliers, employees, investors, because everybody's needs are now different. It's mainly your consumer needs are changing, and all of your other things need to be in sync with what the consumer needs. I always call this business pipeline like a pipe of water with a tap at one end and with a pump at the other. If the tap is closed, no matter how much the pump pumps, the water is not going to move. Flow is not going to be there. In fact, if it does it too much, the whole pipeline might break. It's the same thing. So the retail has to work well, and for the retail to work well, everything is defined and dictated by the consumer. So you need to have supplier relationships that are going to take care of whatever it is that your consumer needs. It's the same with employees. Employees, the frontline workers, they have to be people who are always happy. They have to be people who are willing to bend backwards and step forward when the need be, to make sure that the customer ends up with a delightful. At the same time, today's frontline workers are not just happy doing that. They want a career growth. They want to know how they're going to grow. So you need to make a career path within your organization and explain it to your team. Okay? Every retailer now needs a data scientist. Okay, everything is so scientific and the data analytics is so damn important. And as I said, investors not looking for growth alone, they want valuation. Okay, what are the other agendas that you should be focusing on, which I just mentioned? First is you need to own the consumer relationship, because loyal customers, loyal in today's time and today's requirement, loyal customers are a very, very prime requirement, okay, for any business to grow. And the successful retailer is one who has a huge following with massive loyalty from those customers because he has been doing it right. Okay. And people will pay for such a customer base. Okay. Set a vision on your retail ecosystem. Start by defining the aspirations of your. What are the businesses or assets that you will build? What are your revenue and profit models that you would like to look at? How will you leverage and nurture supplier relationships? Very important to support your customer base. Okay. So as I said, you need to treat all your suppliers as partners. And then you need to overall your employee value proposition. Okay. The companies that get the right kind of employees, both for the front end and the back end, are going to be winners. Take it. There is no question. And you don't have that, you are not going to grow at the pace at which you want to. Okay. So you need to create situations and terms and rules that motivate and constantly attract great frontline staff as well as back-end staff to come and work with you. Okay. The most important, and this I can do an whole episode on, but I have to mention it here, is enable artificial intelligence. AI has the potential to boost productivity and efficiency along each and every step of your value chain. And to get the most of this, you need to study it properly. You need to get somebody to help you to do it, because digital leaders over the last 1 year that I have seen have grown by more than 2.5 to 4 times that of a non-digitally enabled retailer. Okay. So AI can help in everything. I don't need to go through, but it can help in your operations. It can help in your supply chain. It can help in your inventory management. It can help in so many things. Today, AI chat boxes are so personalized and your voice can be so personal that it will feel like they're talking to you already. And imagine the kind of happiness you will deliver to the customer. These are some of the things. Do get back to me and let me know how you found it, especially those people who had requested that I talk a little about the retail scenario over the next year and on. Thank you. Have a great evening.